All right, and we are live on this, at least for me, beautiful October 15th. It's a Wednesday, and we have some writing sprints lined up. And I'm going to say hello to everybody first. But before I jump into the hellos, I have to say I have Emily Collin here with me co-hosting sprints today. I'm very excited to have you, Emily. And actually, just before we went live, I said, Emily, I'm going to say hi to everyone in the chat before you introduce yourself. But as I'm talking, I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Let's let Emily say hi, and then we can say hi to all the folks in the chat. So Emily, if you don't mind, give yourself an introduction here for the people joining us for the sprints today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Doug. I am super excited to be here. It's my absolute favorite thing in the world to hang out with fellow writers. So it's a real treat for me. I'm an author too. I'm also a book coach, an editor, and I teach writing. So basically, if it's bookish, I'm in. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. I mean, I know because I did a little snooping on your website because I knew you were joining me today, but what genres do you write for the folks at home?
So, I can't pick a lane. So, if you were one of my book coaching clients, I'd say, don't be me. But that being said, the overarching theme is I always say I write like kissing books with a supernatural edge. So, you can kind of see some of my books hanging out behind there. I was joking to Doug before that I'm not usually quite that self aggrandizing. I just set them up for a video. But you can kind of see like some of them are dystopian romantasy. That blue one that you can see peeking out was my very first one. It's kind of a romantic book club read where one of the main characters and narrators is a ghost. You can see a little purple one peeking out back there, perfect for Halloween. I always say it's like Stars Hollow meets Charmed, but make it steamy. So I write across genres, but what they always have in common is that I say it's like swoony reads with a supernatural edge. Basically, if there's kissing and there's supernatural, I'm there hanging out.
Fantastic. I love that. And as Hope says here, self-aggrandize away.
Oh, thanks, so. Thank you. You're going to be my hype person. I got you. Thank you.
If I move my head a little, two of my book covers I was gifted those as like big posters. They're tough to see here because they're a million miles away right now. But yeah, I'm like intentionally putting my head in the way sometimes. Like I don't like having my book covers in the back being like, buy my book. But honestly, maybe we should do that more often than we do. Uh,
Yeah, I
so
don't know. Well, these have a nasty way of falling over at the most inopportune moment. So it's like a good reminder, hey, stay humble. You're going to wind up face down on the floor. So, that's how it goes.
all right, we have 2 minutes until the first sprint starts, and you'll find all the links down below me in the description. Emily, we have on the right side a private chat that has clickable links if you want to join us in the wordsprints.org session.
Oh, yeah, I see
Um,
that.
sorry, you do see it?
Yeah, I see it. I see
Okay,
it.
excellent, excellent. But I do need to say hello to a bunch of the folks joining us here. We have NJ and Ashley and Bernadette and Elena. Hello, hello, everybody. And let me keep scrolling. David, hello, and Iva and Hope and Shelly and Natty and Aaron and Stephanie.
Oh,
I'm
my
gonna
God.
get them all. Let's keep going here. The chat's bumping. Reading Archangel right now. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. But please, by no means feel like you have to pick up my book. We're both here today to help make sure that you get your words written and get you closer to your goal. No self-aggrandizing.
100%. And by the way, I am trying to join the chat, but I'll work on this a little bit more because it won't let me unless I connect to my YouTube account. So if I'm not commenting in there, it's not because I don't love all y'all. It's because technology is conspiring against me. So
Yeah, it's a pain in the back end sometimes. We have Rosalinda here as well, and Laura. And all right, so we have 38 seconds until the sprint starts. I'll pop mine up on screen when we do start, and then we just type away. We work on our stuff. I'm working on our homework for next week. We're in the middle of the 60-day novel challenge, and we can chat a little bit more about that after the first sprint. But I'm looking at my internal and external conflicts for the book that I'm going to be writing next month. Emily, what are you going to be writing?
well, I am writing the sequel to my Slavic romantasy. It's called Revenge and Ruin. So I'm about, I'd say, a third of the way through. So I'm excited to have this like time to dig back in.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. I hear the beeping. I'm going to put my stuff up on screen. Happy writing, everyone. We will talk to you in 20 minutes. All right, and that is our first sprint of the day done. Let me pull that off the screen. Emily, how was that for you?
Oh, that was good. It's always so great to have that focused time when you know, even if you're not physically with people, you have that community of writers around you. How about yourself?
It went really well. I had a couple discoveries in there. I'm just planning out the internal external conflict of my story, and it's tough because I'm normally the books that I'm writing right now are urban fantasy, and they're going to be kind of episodic. And so I don't want my character to have much more than a flat arc, because if she can't change a million times over the course of 20 different books, right? So a little bit of a flat arc with some growth here and there, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to
It's
really
really
strong.
hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard. Like I always think about that, like when I'm writing a series where it's like, okay, they've got an arc over the course of the story enough so that the character isn't completely the same, because then people
Mhm.
aren't drawn to read, but not so much that it's like, well, they did all their growing. We don't need book two. So yeah, I totally hear that.
Exactly.
I hear that.
And I'm really going for like a monster of the week, supernatural, X-Files kind of vibe,
My
right?
favorite. Love it. I love it.
So so I can't have too much growth, but I love growth. I love internal conflict. I love that stuff. So it's tough, but it's also fun. My stories, they're going after what they think is a serial killing clown. But really it is a group of shape-shifting serial killing clowns.
I
So
love it. You are going after the supernatural vibe. Remember
oh,
how Sam was so scared of the clown? Do you remember that episode?
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I just rewatched all of Supernatural, so it's like it's
Oh,
super on
good.
my mind. I love that show. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you have to when you're a character-based writer and you have to kind of pull back kind of just enough to be like, all right, some growth, but not everything. It pushes you though, because you got to find
Yeah,
another way to keep people hooked.
absolutely. All right, I'm going to turn to the chat real quick. I see that Renee has joined us, and if I scroll up, Emily and Bon and LJ have joined us as well. I see some excellent numbers coming in the chat here of what folks did whilst we were sprinting. That's awesome. Great work, everyone. TW, use time to update your author platform. Awesome. So I'm going to use that to shamelessly plug that we have our workshop roundtable for W Academy today at 6 o'clock my time. That's in 5 hours, where we're going to be talking about author platforms in the workshop we did last month. So great job, TW. um, let's see. Oh, and Renee, Monster of the Week, X-Files fan here. Oh, the X-Files had a good clown Monster of the Week episode. I'll have to check it out. The chat also gives me a lot of grief because I've never actually watched Doctor Who, but they think that I would love it. So
I haven't
that's
watched
on
it
my list.
either, so
Okay,
I'm
okay,
with
so
you
we're in the
there.
same boat.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
And Bond's saying you've been watching it. Awesome. They're coming out with a series on that. Um, okay, I'm giving a lot of trauma to people here with the clown angle. Emily, we have a minute and a half before the next sprint. I'm going to grab the link to share with everybody. But I was thinking, do you want to give us like a minute-ish blurb about what working with you as a coach or editor is like?
Oh, well, talk about
I'm putting you on the spot.
self-aggrandizing. Yeah, it's basically like the conversation that I'm having with you right now, but longer. I love working with writers in a longer term sort of a way than just working as an editor, because when you're working as a coach, when you work with an editor, it's kind of a one-off and they give you an edit letter and feedback, but then you're kind of left to be like, well, gosh, if I could do this, I maybe would have done it to begin with. So what I love about working with writers is it's so easy to feel lonely in this business of ours. And so to feel like I'm somebody's cheerleader, I'm someone who cares as much about your story as you do. I'm in it with you. I'm a brainstorming partner. I can be an accountability partner. If you feel stuck, you don't have to freak out and be like, all is doomed. And then also there's somebody there to be like, no, this actually doesn't suck. You actually did a good job here, to kind of get you out of that imposter syndrome. So for me, it's really about being a huge cheerleader for people's work and being a brainstorming and accountability partner. And there's nothing more satisfying to me than watching a writer go from like stuck to just flowing with their work and excited. It's my favorite thing to do.
I love that. That's awesome. That makes me happy. And we have 10 seconds before the sprint starts, so I can't even elaborate on it. That's the time constraints we're working with when we're trying to get all these ideas out. So I'll drop contact info for Emily after this sprint. or during it. But happy writing, everyone. We'll talk to you in 20 minutes. All right, and that is my apologies. That is our second sprint of the day done. Let me pull that off of the screen there. NJ saying Weeping Angels will be my favorite. Oh, I know all about the Weeping Angels. Um, and yeah, I just need to start watching Doctor Who. That's just what has to happen. Emily, how'd that sprint go for you?
Oh, really good, really good. It's nice to have those little intense periods of focus. I don't know about you, but this is how I work normally. I set a timer for even shorter, 15 minutes, because I tell myself I can do anything for 15 minutes and it's not enough time to like be worthy of being a distraction because by the time I get back, the 15 minutes will be over. I don't know how you feel about your normal writing process.
Yeah, mine's a mix of sprints like these and then just when I'm really feeling it, some deep work sessions, right? So I host this every Wednesday. I get to do it. Then I get to sometimes join on the other side of the screen when Abby or Hank host them. Often in the morning, I will do sprints, especially when I'm drafting.
Mhm.
But I've also been if I working from home is a blessing and a curse. So if I remove myself from the place where there are distractions, I'll go to a coffee shop a couple times a week in the morning, have a coffee, reward myself with a nice baked good after like an hour of working. That really helps too. But now I'm starting to get there so often that people are recognizing me and chatting with me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be social, but also I'm here for a purpose.
No, I totally hear that. I eventually I decided because I also work from home. I was like, where you see me right now, this is my office. So this is
Mhm.
where I do stuff like this and like my coaching and all of that. But when I'm doing my creative work, I have another specific place in the house that I designated
Right.
for it. So I'm like, okay, just to trigger my brain to do that mind switch where it's like, okay, here I'm productive in one sort of a way, although right now I am creatively writing because we're doing this. But I have found that going to a coffee shop is sometimes great, but also sometimes not great, as you said, when people start conversing with you and then you don't want to be rude, but you're like, no, I want to get into the flow. I went here to escape distraction. Now you're distracting me. I love you, but you're distracting me. So yeah, I hear that totally.
I see some great wins in the chat here. I'm gonna drop your website in the chat. If people want to check out your books, check out your editing, check out your coaching. Are you taking on new clients right now?
Yeah, so I don't have my coaching stuff up on the website right now, but you can email me directly through my website if you're interested in that. And my developmental editing is up on the website. Yeah, and I talk on my website about what genres I do and what genres I don't. I mean, I feel like anyone who tells you they can do every genre is either way better at this than I am, or I'm not really sure. So for myself, there's certain genres that are a great fit in which I read widely, and others that are, less so, but all the good details about who I am and what I do are on there. So thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I would love like romance. I wish I could write romance. I wish I could help people with romance more, but I know my own specialties. I'm good at, genres that subgenres that are a lot of hacking and slashing and shooting.
I love that. No, and sometimes some of my clients, they are not romance writers, but they have a romantic element in their story, and it's exactly what you said, where they're like, I like the hacking and the slashing and the fighting and the da da da, but now there's got to be the kissing, and my mother's looking over my shoulder. What do I do? So so those sometimes that's like my favorite folks to work with because I sort of like demystify it and make it less scary and make it fun and so yeah, I love doing that as well. So yeah.
Awesome. I've saved a couple comments here that I just want to pop up on screen to acknowledge that I saw them because I didn't mention them before. But Ashley giving me a great horror recommendation, Bull, a British gangster supernatural horror, which is quite a line. I got to check that out and I need to put it on screen so that I can remember to come back and look at it. And then NJ telling me that with Doctor Who, I got to start with the reboot with Christopher Eccleston. Okay, good. But then more importantly, an actual question here. If I set the timer in Dabble, will it also count my words regardless of where I'm writing them as long as I'm in the same book? And yes, it absolutely should. Because Dabble has a built-in sprint timer feature and it will track the words that you write. And then you can try and beat that in the next sprint. It'll ask you if you want to try again. So you can keep going for as long as you want. So that's my housekeeping out of the way. I posted the link to the next sprint. I'll post it in our chat as well. And I can hear it beeping at me. So Last sprint of the day, 20 minutes. We'll see everyone on the other side.
Here we go.
All right. And that is our third and final sprint of the day done. Emily, how was that for you?
That was great. I feel like knowing that it's like the last one in a series like goads me to just write a little bit faster and be a little bit less precious about my words. So always
Awesome.
good. Always a good thing.
Awesome. I started, so we're doing the 60-day novel challenge, which is, we did it last year with NaNoWriMo as the 50,000 word writing month, but then a month of planning and prepping and whatnot in October. Nano's no more, but we're still doing the challenge. And so this week is character development. But I snuck into next week and was looking at those conflicts, and then I snuck a little bit farther and I've started just jot note outlining the entire book scene by scene, and I'm so excited.
Oh,
So
that's the
excited.
best. That's the best. You know, when it all starts to come together, I always say like plot plus character equals story, because without the character piece of it, you just have a series of events that happens that no one cares about. And without the plot piece of it, you can have the most interesting characters in the world, but nothing's happening to them. So that external and internal arc, braiding them together in a meaningful way is what I do at the very beginning before I write a word. So yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. I saw in here NJ's asking, a lot of my students want to get on Dabble this month. You have to be on Dabble U to join the 60-day challenge and get 2 months free, because some of them might be a bit young for that. I think you have to be 16 to join Dabble U campus, our community of writers. But as Bon said here, shoot a message to Abby. Abby will know the answer to that, and if we can do any workarounds or something for the class. I'm not totally sure. Don't quote me on it, but worth asking. I see a whole bunch of wins here. Sorry. We have what, 560 for Bernadette. We have 330 for NJ, 458 for Stephanie. Laura has to run, but saying a thanks to both of us for a great sprint. Awesome. Rosalinda 265, David 516. LJ made some awesome progress on the second main character's backstory. Emily wrote 2 character interviews. Renee jumped into some discovery writing for a novella. Awesome. Awesome. That was a very successful sprint. I will drop a couple links in the chat here. The first to Emily's website for developmental editing, email if you're interested in coaching, pick up some books for if you want. How did you describe it?
Oh, I always say it's like swoony books with a supernatural edge. So it's like,
That's it.
you know, some of them are dystopian romantasy, some of them are paranormal romance, some are book club. But you know, there's a fair amount of like sword fighting and action and stuff in there too, just mixed up with the kissing.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. Make sure you copy and paste your stuff out of wordsprints.org. If you joined us over in one of those sessions, it's saved on your device for 24 hours, and then it's gone after that. So make sure you're doing that. And then the last link I'm going to share is a show that is starting in 12 minutes. Hank is chatting with fantasy author R.A. Salvatore, which is very exciting for me because it was R.A. Salvatore's Dark Elf trilogy and all the books that followed with Dritz as the main character that inspired me to start writing. So anytime we have R.A. Salvatore on the show, I start fangirling. And he has such a personality too. He's he's a very quirky guy. So be sure to check that out. And then anyone who is in W Academy, we have our workshop roundtable in about 4 hours today, where we're just debriefing and having a casual discussions on author platforms. So a lot going on. But Emily, thank you so much for joining me. This has been fantastic. It's been great getting to know you and chatting with you.
Oh, absolutely. And I think I'm back here in a couple weeks. I have to check the exact date, but I'll be coming back
Awesome.
to hang with y'all again. So thanks for having me. So much fun.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. All right, everyone. We will see you later. Thanks for joining us, and bye for now.
Bye.